Pastor Doug here. Welcome to my cave and welcome to Daily Devotionals. We are entering into a season traditionally known as Advent. Well, technically, we've kind of already been in Advent since it begins on November 29th traditionally, but since we're not really big on liturgical calendars at Emergence, we do each year a sort of mini Advent where we do 12 days up to and including Christmas. But if you're anything like me, you probably view stuff like that with a little bit of suspicion. And that's because many of us have an aversion to anything that smacks of Roman Catholic or Eastern Orthodox ritualism. And you have passages certainly in the New Testament like Galatians 4:10, where Paul chides the Galatian Christians for observing days and months and seasons and years. And that's because mature Christians understand that it isn't that certain days are holy, right? But rather that because of Christ, all days are made holy by God. Then again, as long as we recognize that and understand that certain days are not more set apart than others and that the mere observance of them doesn't somehow bring us closer to God, there is nothing unchristian about making special use of days in order to orient our hearts toward the Lord. After all, in the New Testament, we see that Christians are already beginning to regard Sunday as a special day of devotion to Christ, calling it the Lord's Day. And it isn't that a day has a certain true spiritual significance. It's that we need structure in our lives. Because although we love the idea of spontaneous worship, the truth is that if we just leave it to spontaneity, it will tend to become non-existent for many of us. Like, how many of us would gather together for church if the rule was just come whenever you feel like it? And so we set apart certain days, and Christmas is certainly one of them. And while Christians are not obligated to do so to keep Christmas, most of us do. And why? Because God tells us to in His Word? No, because He doesn't. We do it not because we have to, but because we want to, and we see the value in it. Now, maybe we want to for a variety of reasons that possibly aren't so good, but I think some of the reasons we observe Christmas are very good. So, for example, it is good to have a day when the world's attention turns to Jesus more than almost any other day of the year. And we can take that as a chance to shine the gospel into people's lives who maybe ordinarily wouldn't be into doing such things. And we can do this by bringing them to church or looking for other opportunities to share with them. And we get to direct our families' hearts toward Jesus, hopefully in a way that's more intense and more focused than usual. So there's like an evangelistic kind of outreachy aspect to Christmas. Also, since we make a big deal about pretty much everyone else's birthdays, it seems fitting that we should make a big deal about the day when God sent His Son into the world, even if that day was not December 25th. And finally, we do it for the good of our own hearts, that we can set aside time to focus on Jesus and what a gift He is to us, that in giving us Jesus, God gave us Himself. How great an idea it is to have an entire day devoted to this. So take any reason that you might have for celebrating Christmas and then extend that out, realizing that every reason that you have for celebrating it is also a day for celebrating Advent. The world's attention turned more towards Christ than it usually is. The making of a big deal about Jesus is coming into the world and the focus on the gift of Christ. Why do that only one day? The truth is, of course, that we should be doing that every day, but the truth is also that most of us do not. And good luck if you think that just one day can do this. But 12? Well, then you've got the start of a habit on your hands, and I think that's a very good thing with this habit. Moreover, if your Christmases are anything like mine are, there isn't much focusing on Jesus going on, at least not as much as you might want to happen. We're stressed out about trying to get together with family. We're trying to get all the churchy stuff done. We're feasting on fancy food. And the presents. Perhaps you have felt the irony of celebrating Jesus with a strong dose of materialism. Well, guess what? No one gets Advent presents. You might get a little piece of chocolate, but that could be allowed, right? No one's having roast beef or grandma's lasagna with eggnog for December 15th. So why don't you take the good reasons that you have for celebrating Christmas and extend those out for 12 days? Let this whole season be a celebration for you of Jesus' coming into the world without all of the fixings that get in the way, and strive to reorient yourself to him, with him at the center of your life, as you wish that you could do on Christmas, but often can't. Go and read the story of his birth in the Gospel of Matthew or Luke, or the introduction of the Gospel of John. Now, go do it right now when you turn this off, and start real Christmas now. And join us over the next 12 days in our daily devotionals to keep that going, realizing that what we're trying to do is to build a habit of daily devotion to Christ. What you're really doing during this season, not just for that one day then, and not just for the 12, is celebrating Jesus and honoring him in your life. And that really needs to be all of life, 365 days a year.